There we go. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited for our Monday call. Oh, those guys are just jumping on now. Yeah, just so excited to be on the UK call. We love getting on these. Obviously, we've been growing about a person a week every week. So yeah, and we're here this evening. Caroline's going to listen into what we're going over. It's pretty casual, but it's also a special call. And I know that Isaac put a message out earlier today and said how much we were looking forward to interviewing a very special friend of ours. I'm going to try not to cry when I'm on the call because she's a bit like my mum in New Zealand. But yeah, she's a dear friend of ours who we met through the opportunity of Isogenics, and she's really guided Isaac and I and been a mentor in our life as well as someone that we know through our business. So yeah, we were just like reminiscing about how kind of Sandy's been someone that's really set up a lot of the events in New Zealand, and kind of when there was no one doing Isogenics on the level she was the one kind of moving it forward in the country. So really someone who's like a, I don't know, like almost like a founder of Isogenics in New Zealand for us anyway. And we're just so excited for you to hear what she has to say this evening, because when I tell you someone runs their business like clockwork, it's her. Like next level. We've been to her house and we've seen what she does and how she is with her team and the support that she offers them and the way that she supports them, and it's just next level. So we're so excited to have you on the call this evening, Sandy. So we're going to say a big congratulations. What was I going to say? I was going to say her rank.
I'll say a little bit as well. Yeah. So everything that Rach said, and Sandra is just like, yeah, honestly, like an Isogenics mum to me as well, and she's always been there since the beginning. You know, it's literally, I just realized that, no, it's not all about me, Sandra, but yesterday was my 3-year anniversary in Isogenics on using the product. So, but I remember back in those days, back in 2014, when we just started out, and we had no upline mentoring or coaching us, and I just remember going to the first couple of events and then met Sandra, and you know, you just felt so taken care of, even though we're not financially linked. You know, that's who she's been for us and our team. So
massively.
Thanks so much, Sandra. So yes, like you would have seen in the post I put up, Sandra's 2-star Golden Circle Crystal Executive, which basically means she earns somewhere between 20 to 40 cycles a week. Based on the British pound, that would be, well, whatever 20 to 40 times 44 pounds a week is. So a decent amount, somewhere out there around maybe
heading towards the 6 figures.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, Sandra, what I want to say, there was one other thing.
I wanted to say, like, you'll really get a feel for how big her heart is on this call.
Yeah.
Because that's why her business looks the way it does, and that's why she's done what pioneered, that was the word I was looking for, New Zealand, because she has the biggest heart, and that's why she's looked after us. So we're going to stop gushing over you, Sandra, and actually let you talk.
I love talking people up, so especially Sandra.
Something else?
Yeah, so she... you might have to remind me, Sandra, there was a week you've had a couple really big weeks lately, and you've just shifted so many things around your business, and I wanted to talk around that too in the interview, but can you just tell us, what was how many people did you enroll that week where you went for it, and I don't, you can tell us more about it, but how many people was it?
7.
Yeah, you enrolled 7 people in a week. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of stuff behind that, what led to that, and you can talk more through that, but just to show you, I think more the people on this call, because we just seem to have attracted a lot of people in the older age bracket, in the prime time movement, Sandra. And so I'd love you be able to connect so much more on what's possible and how to do from your point of view, and they'll just listen to you, differently. So we really want you to speak to that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take over that?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Well, I just thought we'd hand over to you and you could share a bit about who you are, how, obviously we did a bit of an introduction, but how you got into Isogenics, because we know it but these guys don't, and just a bit about your background. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. Woo! Go, Sandra.
Wow. Thanks, guys. I feel like I'm up here accepting an award. You guys are awesome. So my name is Sandra and I'm 52 years of age. I actually was 49 and a half, almost 50, and was carrying quite a bit of weight, and I was a bit like perturbed about the fact that turning the big 50, and I wanted to be 50 and fabulous, not 50 and fat. So I started researching health and wellness, and as well as that, it's my own health transformation. I had a very sick dad, and so we'd always been a holistically focused family for health. And so I was actually researching health for me, but also for my father. So it was sort of a two-pronged research I went on. I'm quite different because I actually tracked isogenics down. No one even approached me about it. So I had been going to Thailand for several years, 3 years apart, doing health retreats and everything like that, and was always with a naturopath and homeopath. So I was very open to a holistic approach to health. Found this girl that I was following on Facebook. She was in Mexico doing a 30-day cleanse. Had no idea what that entailed, but she put up a before and after picture. And there's a clue. It's that simple to put up a before and after picture after 30 days. And I watched her for about 6 months before I approached her. So there's another clue. People are watching, even if they're not reaching out. They will be watching you on social media. So I actually just Facebook messaged her and said, hey, Kimmy, I've been watching you doing your cleanse. I'm fat. I'm turning 50 in 3-4 months' time. Do you think it'll work for me? And also I've been researching isogenics, which floored her because she never posted anything about isogenics. But I actually found out it was isogenics because I saw the last few letters in the name behind another person. And so I really got on and did some Facebook stalking and found out what it was. So I said, I want to do this and I want to do it as a business. And so in my first 30 days, at day 5, I enrolled 5 people, 5 girlfriends and my daughter. I just literally rang them up and I said, I don't know what is in this stuff, but after 10 years, I've been skinny my whole life, and then met and married the most gorgeous Australian, and Australian men are party animals and they love to eat and drink. And so I just embraced his lifestyle and got fat. So I at day 5, after yo-yoing for 10 years trying to get back to my goal weight, I said to my girlfriends, you've just got to start this. And then my daughter, who was a teacher and sick, every other week she was sick, I said, Bubby, I don't know what's in this, but I'm sick and tired of you being sick and tired. You're going to buy this. Give me a credit card. And so for those 5 girlfriends, and I had my 3-year anniversary last week, and 4 of those 5 are on. They're still using the products 3 years later. And there's another big clue. So I want you to write that down, retention. Retention is what is going to grow your business. So in my first 30 days, I released nearly 10 kilos. And from October, in those days, the parcels took about 2 weeks to get to you. And so I got it in October. And to my birthday in February, I'd released 22 kilos. And I looked fabulous for my 50th, and I was really happy and I felt amazing. And I knew I'd found something that I would use for the rest of my life. So it was absolutely incredible to find something that I knew worked for me and worked for so many other people. And that's when my belief went through the roof in the products, and I knew that I had to share it just organically. And I actually got on a plane and went to David Wood, and I know you've got David Wood coming to the UK. So my husband, Tim, is my number 1 man, and David Wood is number 2, absolutely number 2. He is incredible. I can't, talk more highly about him, but he is, if you want to be inspired by someone who lives the most incredible life, you need to get to David Wood. I went to him right at the end of my first 30 days, and I didn't understand the difference between a pyramid scheme and network marketing. And when I asked top leaders over here in multi-billion-dollar businesses, what's the difference between pyramid schemes and network marketing? Because network marketing is very new in New Zealand. No one could give me an answer. So when I went to David Wood, he answered everything. All of the questions I had, he answered them. And from that point on, I came home from that event and just grew my business. So I looked back at my business just recently for my team who are just starting. And from the very first week that I started sharing, there was 1 week in the first probably 6 weeks where I didn't cycle. And I'm growing my business myself. There's no one above me growing like a rocket ship or anything. Yes, they share, but they're not growing a business per se. So I'm growing this business myself, signing up left, right, and I've cycled every single week bar 1 in 3 years and growing it consistently. And that's because I've enrolled consistently. So there's that side of my story about my health transformation, but also I had a business. I had 2 businesses that I was running at home, And I was very aware that they were in declining markets. And the fear for me was I was unemployable because I'd been working for myself from home after being made redundant. And being made redundant was awful because in New Zealand, we don't have a redundancy payout. So I got $0 to be basically pushed out of my job. So that fear, I was earning 2.5 times what my husband was. So I was the main income earner, and that was a horrific loss to our family income. So working for myself, I was doing okay, but I was very aware of that declining market, retail and also promotional marketing. And so that's why I started researching health and wellness. And I can tell you that when I started researching, I looked into what was a growth industry, and it is health and wellness. So it was just a no-brainer for me. And when I found that the products worked, and it was a health and wellness company, it's a win-win for the rest of my life. I will never have to go back to work because I am unemployable. I couldn't work for anyone else. I couldn't go to work from 8:30 till 5 or whatever. I couldn't even do half days. I couldn't cope with that after having this freedom in my life to run my own business the way I want it. So that's when I realized that it was win-win in all aspects of my life.
Oh my God, there's like so much stuff in that I didn't even know. 22 kilos, that's incredible. And and the fact that you've never not cycled. We've got like some quite new people just finished in their 30 days on the call. So for some of you that might not even mean anything, but that is massive, like to know that you've just consistently brought people on. And I think that's what they talk about. This whole business is consistency. And that's what you've shown us, Sandra, because really in the beginning, Isaac and I had this mentality of like bringing those people on and then stopping. And it just doesn't work like that. Just that consistency is so key. So yeah, I don't know if anybody has any questions. We'll probably do questions and answers at the end. But I would love to hear a little bit more about what you kind of did from then on. So obviously you were kind of like calling people up and just sharing how you were feeling amazing and didn't really know what was in this stuff. And then I know that you've done a lot of taster parties. But would love to know, I know when we met up, you said that you'd started to really refine your social media a little bit more and what that actually looked like for you. So would you mind just sharing maybe a little bit about social media and how it's helped you with your Isogenics business, and then just taster parties and whether you do a similar thing. I don't know whether you just call up and say, I know you're a phone person, and that's what I was saying to Mum. So would love to hear you share a bit about how you're really inviting people to taster parties and what that creates amongst your team, like for people. That's quite a lot, so just
all right. I'll start with the tasting parties, and because that's actually how I grew my business. So I came back from David Wood, and they actually in the training they called them the launch party, and that never sat well with us Kiwis because we don't use that American language. So just find your own language, what works for you, what works for your own culture around you. Everyone's different. And so I never called it a launch party, but then when we started calling it a tasting party, we couldn't believe the difference because everyone wants some free food. That actually cracked us up, that people were coming and they actually thought we were making cheesecakes and things like that. They actually didn't realise what we were doing, which was quite funny. So the reason I did tasting parties was for my team. So, basically I can sign people up. I get them over the line with a phone conversation, but people in my team were struggling to close. So, and also leveraging your time. You can have 10 people in a room and you cover 10 people in an hour rather than sitting down with someone for an hour for 10. You've got 10 hours for 10 people. So it's leveraging your time. And by doing them consistently, your team know that you'll be doing them. And I swap my nights and days around. We tried everything so that when people said, oh no, I train on a Wednesday night, and it would be like, well, what night would suit you? And then the next week we'd do it on a night that we knew that person would come. So tasting parties are incredible, and I encourage everyone to do them consistently. You don't need to do them every week, but just build up and do them consistently. And if it's not for you, do it to get your team over the line and get them to hear your language, because my husband could actually run one because he's listened to me do so many, and he's actually not actively in the business with me. He uses the products and supports me, but he works full time. But I reckon he could run one of my own tasting parties for me, and I listen to his language and people start duplicating exactly what you're saying. So just really quickly around there, because inviting people, it's your tone of voice is what gets people over the line. So when I rang those 5 girls in week 1 and said, you know, guys, you've got to get on this stuff. I don't know what it's incredible. I've dropped 4.4 kilos in 4 days. You've got to start. And of course, it was my excitement and everything. They were like, well, if she's on it, we're on it. We're not letting her lose all this weight, and we're going to stay over here in the fatty club. So guys, seriously, it's tone of voice when you invite people. And you don't have to, even if you can't get them on the phone, you can leave a voice message. And, you know, just, you can say, like for Linda, you could be ringing people and say, I don't know if you have been watching, is your husband Phil? No, yeah, it is. See, power of social media. So, you know, you and Phil, I don't know if you've been watching Phil and I on social media, but we've had this incredible health, you know, we've had this incredible health transformation, and we're just going to share with our dearest and, you know, closest friends, and we'd love you to come along and support us. You can even appeal to people as like, I just need you to come along and support me while I'm practicing. You know, I said that to friends that I knew were going to say no to me, and I just said, I need you to come and critique me for how I'm presenting. And they all ended up signing up because they just were so inspired by what was happening. But, you know, just talk to people and be honest. And tone of voice is really powerful. So I do message, and I've messaged people and they never reply. And there's nothing that is so more discouraging than messaging someone 30 times and then you've become the stalker that they've never responded to. So it's just like pick up the phone, you know, and have an honest conversation with people and be real is my best advice to people. And, you know, use the language like this. It may not be for you, but you won't know unless you come along and just listen. And I always say to people, there is never any pressure. There's never, you're not going to be, it's not like a Tupperware party where you're going to be handed out an order form and made to buy something. You know, there's never any pressure. So, you know.
That's awesome. I love that, Sandra.
Just be real with people. Is that enough on, is that any other? Okay. So with regards to social media, our generation is like, oh, I'm not accepting that person as a friend. What a weirdo. I don't even know who they are. Don't. Who's this person adding me on Facebook? No, delete. Or you'll laugh because those people adding you on Facebook are watching you through friends of friends, and they might just be adding you so that they can message you and say, I want to get started. So I've deleted a few people that have wanted to get started. And they've had to send me a message and say, I'm just trying to get in touch with you so I can get started on your cleanse. So with regards to social media, I've got a 24-year-old daughter that's just come back from the UK. She was traveling for 2.5 years, and she was blessed enough to get into an incredible job with IT and social media, and went to Google and got trained in Google AdWords and everything like that. So she's come back quite a clever cookie thanks to the UK, and got a skill set that's really highly sought after over here. And here I was just bumbling along with my social media, doing pretty okay for an old person. And so when I came back from David Wood in May, I flew to Sydney to see him again and got just so inspired. And I came back to Ash and I said, Bub, teach Mum how to use Instagram. I don't know how all these people say they get so many leads from Instagram. So she sat me down for literally an hour and gave me training on Instagram. And I can't tell you how many people I've signed up, complete strangers. People in the UK have signed up with me. Spanish people living in the UK have signed up with me just because a post I've done has resonated. So I encourage you, feel free to go and have a look at my Instagram. It's public, from being this private person to public. And I'm only public on Instagram. I'm still private on Facebook. And that's just a personal choice. You can be public on Facebook as well. And so what I started doing was I lost my dad 2 years ago, and I really struggled with my own health transformation. And so this year, at the start of the year, I started a project called #ProjectMe. And so my branding through Instagram and Facebook has all been hashtag Project Me, which is me first, self-love, really nurturing me, because unless you get yourself sorted, you can't give to others. And as mothers, for all you mothers out there, this will resonate. We give, and we forget to pour back into ourselves. We put everyone else first and we put ourselves last. So this year has been a real shift for me from going to caring and nurturing everyone in my family, including my team, to really me first, then everyone else. And so my branding on social media shows my journey. And also what I've tried to do is, like, I wrote down what I'm passionate about. And I want you all to write down, not now, but when you're off this call, what are you really passionate about? Because that's your brand. That's who you want to show people that you are. So I'm passionate about family. I'm passionate about my Aussie love, my husband. I'm passionate about food. I love to cook. I wanted to be a cooking teacher when I was a little girl, so I've always cooked. And instead of, cooking unhealthy, it's like taking that turn to showing people that you can cook amazing food and it can be perfectly healthy for you. So people think that when you do any form of nutrition, it's got to be boring. It's got to be chicken, broccoli and rice. So showing people that you can have so much more in your life than chicken, broccoli and rice. And so I go through and have a look. My Instagram is at Sandra Castle Dodson, Dodson, and Rachel and Isaac will give it to you, but go and have a look. And so, I don't have a real system where I'm rigid and you can have Instagram looking perfect, where when you look at someone's Instagram, all their quotes line up and that. I'm a little bit messy. And I just go with what my flow is. And it's like, if we've got a special on, you'll see a little bit more of my flow. And it's like 10% off, and then I'm more before and after. So I do a lot more on Instagram, and that's my business. Whereas Facebook is a lot more personal. The key tips that I got given for Instagram were short and sweet. If you can't read it in the top 3 lines, and if it hasn't captured people's interest, they're not going to stop. So those first 3 lines are key. Hashtags are key. When you're putting in a hashtag, and that's how I've grown from having 300 friends to now nearly 2,000. They're not friends, sorry. That's what my daughter corrects me on. They're not friends, they're followers. They're not your friend mum. They don't even know. My followers, they come to you through your hashtags. So, I've taken my shift from Project Me, where I was healing from the grief of my father, and I was open and vulnerable, restarting my health transformation, and then taking it also into more before and afters, inspiring people, and really focused on the fact that this is food, that it's lifestyle, and coaching people that it's not a diet. Like, changing mindset is the most powerful part that we need to get right. So work out what it is. And, I've just had a hip replacement, so I've taken people through my journey and the incredible how I healed so incredibly quickly, and the surgeons were so amazed. So you've got to share that stuff with people so that they actually see it's not a diet and it's not weight loss. And that's the biggest mistake people make, is just focusing on weight loss. Because, and this is, I love that Rach said and Isaac said, for the prime time people, did you know that health and healthy aging is #1 worldwide? It's not weight loss. People are looking to age healthily. So that's been my focus. And so at 52, I put my before and after pictures up, which is a 6-year difference. And people contact me and go, what are you doing? What are you taking? So, and that's a big thing for me. Older people have more disposable income. They are more likely to become long-term customers. Younger people are looking to lose, 2-3 kilos. You can do that in 2 weeks. And are they going to keep using the products because they want to necessarily? So it's like, make sure your business is diverse. You need those young guns, but you also need the older people who are going to be your customers. That, I signed up a couple, and the BV's probably similar in the UK. Isaac and Rachel can help us with this. But they're buying up to like 1,000 BV in a month. So that's like 2,500 New Zealand dollars in a month. So that's the customer I want to get my BV flowing up to my business. And they came from Instagram. So she just reached out and said, look, we've heard to talk to you because we like your vibe on Instagram. Boom. Thank you. My job's done. So it's like, work out who you are, get your branding on point, share a story, take them through your journey. Don't become an Isagenix weirdo. All of a sudden, every post is you're posting about, you know, join me, join me, join me. It's like, stop asking for people to join you. They'll join you because they're so inspired by what you're doing. And, you know, I've been to training and people have said, don't share about Isagenix. You've got to do what works for you, because the millennials, and this is another clue, that doesn't work for everyone. They actually want to know what you're doing, and people will come and say, I'm ready to try Isagenix. And because I'm hashtagging Isagenix, they go in and search hashtag Isagenix. Guess who they come to? Me. So I'm sure they're going to other people too. Of course they are, but they wouldn't come to me if I hadn't put hashtag Isagenix. So you've got to really be open to try new things and work out what is resonating with the people watching you. So the other thing is to remember is that I'm just 3 years in. So I had my 3-year anniversary. So Isaac and I basically started in the same week. So I've just had my 3-year anniversary. I was very quiet. Yes, I was telling people what I was doing for the first 2 years, but I was very quiet about it. So it's like you've got to build up. I don't believe that you go and then everything is Isagenix. You've really got to build it up and create curiosity and create that your own brand and everything like that. So if you love to work out, it's like, show what you're doing in the weekend, and it's not just pictures of yourself, it's pictures of the scenery, it's pictures of your lifestyle, it's pictures of the food you're making, and keep it interesting. So that's my biggest advice to people, is really show people who you are and what you stand for on social media. And my other thing is that I stand for is, love of everyone else. So I'm all about self-love, but I'm all about, pumping other people up as well, and empowering everyone to have this amazing opportunity that I've got with Isagenix.
I'm getting so much from this training. I'm like, oh my God, like there's so much on Instagram that I'm not doing that I should have been talking to your daughter about. Because
you can't talk to her. She's mine.
She's yours. Yeah, well, I should have spoken to you through her. But yeah, and I spend so much time, as you know, Sandra, like you follow me on Instagram, like I have put a lot of time and energy into my Instagram, but definitely not getting the traffic that you are, like absolutely not. So you're rocking it, girlfriend. That's what I meant to say, isn't it? Is that what the kids say? Ed. Oh, sorry, we've got like a little Frenchie by our feet that's just wanting all the love, all the attention. So Isaac, you had a couple of questions that you're really keen to ask Sandra.
Well, you kind of answered one of them, which was like talking to like the prime time. Actually, I will ask that, like, talking to the whole prime time movement aspect of Isagenix, and just I'm really keen to have that more present and prominent in the UK. Just because I don't even think these guys here, maybe Linda, because I've mentioned it, know what prime time even is. So can you speak a bit to that? And I don't know if you play any part in it or you do anything around it, but if you can just speak to it, that'd be cool.
Sure. So they set up the prime time group basically for anyone over 35, movement for our 18 to 35s, and they get recognised, they get a lot of stage time and all the rest of it. But what they realised was there was a big gap in the market for anyone over 35. So they actually started a group called Prime Time, and you can plug people into that. It's from America, but they do have some great calls. Like for free, we had a David Wood call from that Prime Time group. So I was week 1 home after my hip replacement and had my husband home caring for me. So he hopped on and we was able to have an hour with David Wood sharing, gold nuggets as he does. So you have the opportunity to listen to some really good calls in there. And also, that's a great community where you can reach out to people who, and this is, I think, goes right up. There's 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds in that group. So it's not just the 40 and 50-year-olds, it's everyone past 35 that's in that group. So it's a great group to jump into and have a look. I don't do a lot of work in there, but any calls for training and that, I jump in and listen to the training calls. We get so much free training. Just jump in and take advantage of everything. And, you know, I even if I can't do it at the time, I'll listen to the recordings.
Thanks, Sandy. Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, I don't think many people, oh, sorry, the dog's like literally wanting us to pet him like all the time. So they've just had to move him. I don't think many of you guys know much about prime time, but definitely, because you see so many people sharing their stories, which are stories that potentially you could share that would be appropriate for your network instead of, you know, this 25-year-old packed on loads of lean muscle, whatever. The other thing that I just wanted you to share about, and actually it's like a question more for myself as well, is, you know, obviously if you're sharing on Instagram, you're kind of getting people following you. That's a huge amount to take your followers, like when they call it real followers, like genuine followers rather than a robot or whatever. When you have someone that maybe has commented and said like, oh, I love your post, or, you know, something like that, how do you then engage in conversation with them? Because I think lots of people know how to share and they know what to share and they know how to talk about their lives, but then when they're wanting to set up some sort of like relationship building, because I know your team, you really have great relationships with all of them, so how do you bridge that gap?
So someone comments on an Instagram, I will actually write them a comment underneath, you know, thanking them, but also say, you know, I'm going to send you a message so that they know, because a lot of people forget to look in their messages on Instagram. So I'll send them a little, you know, thanks so much, and then I'll go to the message part in Instagram, and then I'll send them a message, have a phone call. And phone calls are free in Facebook Messenger, so it doesn't matter where anyone is in the world. I get them on Facebook Messenger and then book a time for a phone call. And I use a world clock on my phone, so I just find out where they are, what city they're in, and then I can negotiate a time that works for both of us. So it's a really simple process. And, you know, I take the conversation to a part and write, and, you know, I qualify them about how much time I'm going to spend with them. And it's like, you know, what are your health goals? And we talk through that, and I go, great. This is so good. Let's have a conversation. So I qualify them, get them to the next step where it's a phone conversation.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you so much. I'm scribbling notes at the same time. I'm like, unmute. The other question I had was, do you actively go out on Instagram and like message people and try and find people, or do you tend to like generate your Instagram really well and then let people come to you? How do you kind of
Yeah, I've tried both, love. So when I first started, Ashley, my daughter, showed me how to, anyone liking my posts, to start contacting them. But I literally had zero response. So I think you've just got to do what is working for you. And so I was messaging all these people and they're not even looking at it. So, but when I get someone that likes something and starts following me, I'll go and have a look at what they're doing. Gorgeous lady in the UK, and so I'll see where they're from, and I'll start, you know, liking some of their posts. So it's really important that you go and like and write a comment so they see who you are, so that when you contact them, you're not this weirdo from the other side of the world that's wanting something, you know. So it's a mutual respect that I have for people that have got, you know, and it could even just be gardening. So, you know, again, when you do David Wood, as you can see, I've got a real thing for David Wood, because he is the master of network marketing. It's find common ground. So it could be that gardening, that's your common ground. It could be swimming, it could be training, it could be food. So find common ground, start a conversation. So that's what I do on Instagram. And if they've the food post, I start talking about food with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love the food post. It's such an easy topic. This is gold, Sandra. Like, I didn't even know that you were. I knew you were doing some great stuff on, and I've been watching you on Instagram, so I need to follow you. But
I have.
Yeah, good. Well, but like just watching you on Facebook, you've been doing some amazing stuff. But just to hear the strategies behind it, and to hear how well you're doing it, and consistently, of course, too, I'm sure is the key. But
I think because for us, like, we do so well face to face. We love going out and networking with people, and we've done quite a lot of that while we're in the UK. But there's, on a time frame, like sometimes you just can't, like you can't be out networking with people all the time. And so if you can balance doing a couple of networking events a week and then like what you're doing, it's just, yeah, it's amazing. I'm like so inspired right now.
Yeah. I've been like I said, I've been watching on Facebook, and I always see you talking about your project, or around being the best version of you, and I see you also interlink the IsaBody challenge into it. Can you talk a bit about how you've done that and how it's worked for you? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. Again, this is around retention. So, you'll sign people up for a 30-day cleanse, as I said, but what I realized was, I was talking, what are your health goals in the next 90 days? And it's like, why would I do 90 days when it's a 16-week IsaBody? So what my goal was when I came back from May, and this is when I had a massive shift, and I realized I needed to stop supporting my team so much, and I actually needed to go on an enrolling binge. And so I set myself a goal at the end of May, so at the start of June, to enroll 20 people over the next 3 months. So I had June, July, August. And I enrolled exactly 20 people, but 25 packs went out. So some of those people ordered 2 packs, one for him, one for her. And they didn't want to enroll husband and wife. They wanted to just enroll one of us and we'll get 2 packs. And this lady I said is still buying the 1,000 BV in a month. So, because she's now extended it to her children. So, I did those 25 packs. And what I focused on was saying to them, we've got this IsaBody challenge. I encourage you to start, because at the end of it, you automatically qualify for a $200 coupon to use on your products. Why wouldn't you? It's free. And also that you get support for the full 16 weeks. And they're like, yes, what do I do? How do I do it? And so I got them started on that 16-week IsaBody. And I actually set up my own little, just as a tester, I set up our own group IsaBody challenge. So anyone through June, July, August that started got put into this group. And it's really interesting for me how many people disappear. And I can, I've done the same. I've disappeared. I've gone off the wagon. I've dived off the wagon and struggled to claw my way back on. And so it's really, having this experience has helped me coach other people. When they go quiet on social media that they're actually not following the program or the system. So, the 16-week body is about 16-week IsaBody is about retention for me. It's keeping them plugged in. After 4 months of using these incredible products, the likelihood of them stopping is a lot less than if they just did a 30-day. And you can say to people, it's not a quick fix. You can lose a lot of weight in your first 30 days. But it's more than that. So it's getting them through that 4 months with all the posting I do in the group about the nutrients, about the supplementation, about really focusing on ionics, about why our ant range is so good for their training. You can educate them over 4 months. So I think that's key, is keeping people plugged in. So why I talk about IsaBody and 16 weeks is basically to help my retention. And it's fantastic. It really does work. I have a great retention in my business.
That's so awesome, Sandra. And look, I know that like the IsaBody challenge has transformed your life so much, and everyone can hear your passion behind it too, and why you duplicate it, and why you use it to build retention in your team. So can you tell us about you personally? Like, what has the IsaBody challenge done for you, and why are you so passionate about it?
Yeah, well, as I said, when I lost my dad, I really struggled. It was such a hard time. And, we struck Dad. It was a 4-year process of Dad to the end when he was really sick and passing. And it was such a hard time. But I didn't understand what grief was until I was in it. And I really was in it, in a swamp for about 18 months, still functioning, still supporting other people, but, using a glass of wine on a Friday night, 2 glasses of wine, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it wasn't, serving my purpose. So for me to to have integrity to my word. It was like, right, I need to be an absolute product of the product. I need to follow the system. What is our system? And it's the IsaBody Challenge. So that's why I did it. And I did it at the start of the year, and I did it really amazingly for the first 30 days, and then I celebrated for the next 30 days, going, woo, I'm back. And so then I re-signed up, and this one, I've got 3 more weeks to go, and I'm proud to say that I am being really good, and it's about mindset for me. So it's not just the IsaBody Challenge, it's also Healthy Mind and Body, which I've done 3 times. And it's really easy to say, but it's when you get this right, everything else follows. So if someone's struggling, you know that it's this that needs to happen. It's no amount of saying, get your ass to the gym is going to do it for them. It's like, okay, what's going on up in here? And so I didn't have anyone I was working with about this. It was me that had to sit down and get really deep and really real with myself about what was going on. So, yeah, does that answer that question? And it's also, it's community, the community of the being on that IsaBody page, the community. I went on there loud and proud and said, hey, I've done this so many times and not at my goal. I'm loud and proud. These are my goals. This is what I'm doing. And I also put it out on Facebook that I was alcohol free for 16 weeks, that I was going to do this. And my journey's been hilarious because I went alcohol free and now I'm meat free. And I'm like, who am I? I mean, what is this steak loving girl that lives in New Zealand where we grow cows? And I'm like, I've just had this massive shift where I'm just all about me, and it's like, yeah, I'm doing this and I don't need meat anymore, and it's just such a good feeling. And also I've got a daughter getting married in 2 months' time, so huge motivation, and part of my Facebook branding is being mother of the bride. So again, with everyone in. So yeah, IsaBody, tick.
Love it.
I love it. I love the accountability. I've been watching, I just...
Yeah. And I just can't fail. I mean, if I fail again, for goodness sakes, it's like, seriously, Sandra.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, and I could tell you were serious this time around because the team doesn't know, but Sandra came to us and said, I need you guys to be my accountability partners.
Yeah.
So we probably haven't been that great in the last couple of months, but like right at the beginning, it was just great to hear you were coming to us and going, this is what I've done, this is how I'm going.
Smash a double cleanse.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Putting up on Facebook and using social media for accountability is so key.
Oh,
and I know
people love that stuff.
Yeah, I know a lot of IsaBody Challenge winners in New Zealand and Australia, particularly New Zealand of this last year or so, have won it because they used Facebook for accountability and social media for accountability.
Well, who on the call would say if you had to put something out there and let everybody know about it, that you're more likely to do it? Like, I absolutely 100%. Like, I honestly, if I hadn't have been in the IsaBody while we've been traveling, I would have been eating all sorts. It's really taken something, while traveling and doing it. There was no way that I would have been in the gym this morning if it wasn't for being in an IsaBody Challenge. So, but thank you so much, Sandra. Like, that was awesome.
Oh, and I always think about for the UK because things are a little bit different over here, Sandra. So the page over here on Facebook is called, I think it's called Isogenics Europe IsaBody Challenge. Phil and Linda, you could probably confirm that you guys are on it. We're not in
Mum
UK
calls it
business center.
Yeah,
so
she calls it IsaBody Europe.
Yeah, IsaBody Europe. So I'm sure if you search that, you can.
I don't know if that's the right name, but that's what she calls it.
Those 2 words are in the title. So you can add yourselves to that page. If you're in an IsaBody Challenge, you just give your member ID number, it asks you for it, which you can find in your back office.
And I'm hoping they're going to release Healthy Mind and Body at ICU.
Yeah.
We're hoping. So yeah, I'd be surprised if they don't, but I don't want to guarantee anything. But it really goes hand in hand. I'm going to enter. I've got how many weeks left? 9 weeks left of mine, and I'm going to do another Healthy Mind and Body because you can just feel the mental, the internal dialogue just giving you a hard time, and you're doing so much, and it's still nagging away at you, chipping away that you're not enough. And so I think the Healthy Mind and Body is amazing for that. Yeah.
I wanted to ask Sandra.
I think we froze.
Are we still
okay?
Yeah. I wanted to ask, what would your say, just your three, it could be more than three, but what would be your three main top tips? Yeah, thanks, Linda. Isogenics, Body Challenge Europe. There you go. That's what it's called.
Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, Sandra, what would be your three top tips? Like, give three very top tips you would give to your team, anyone, around like how to effectively utilize social media for your Isogenics business?
Oh, consistency. So number one is you can't post once one week and 50 times the next. You're just not going to, appeal or attract the right people. So consistency is key. Trial what time works for your, so timing is also key. I'm a 7 a.m. and a 7 p.m. girl here in New Zealand, and I shift that around with when I see what traction I'm getting. So that's Facebook. Instagram, putting the address in, I'll put UK address in, and of course somehow people from UK will find me. So if you want to get more people in the New Zealand market, you've got family in New Zealand market, put New Zealand in. So just play around with locations on Instagram. When it says where you are, you don't have to be there. I did a thing with a before and after of a girl from Australia, and I put Bondi in, and wow, I got so many people from Australia. It was crazy following me, So consistency, and then Instagram, and be real, be you. Don't become an Isogenics weirdo or a preacher. No one likes to be told. They want to be shown. So it's like all of a sudden, people start writing posts this long, and they've stopped after the first 3 or 4 lines. It's like no one cares. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them, because it's all about me. It's not about you. So it's like, really, you need to appeal to people, and resonate with the people that you're trying to attract.
So perfect. Thanks, Sandra. And I just have one more question, and then we'll probably go into a Q&A session with the team.
Sure.
So around when you say consistency, what does it look like on the court? Like, what are the consistent actions that you take on a daily or weekly basis on social media? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just bring up my social media. So, you can pick your days, like Monday motivation or transformation Tuesday. You can do whatever, you can call it whatever you want to do. But if you go into the hashtags and put Tuesday transformation or transformation Tuesday, you'll find that there's millions of people that are doing that. So I do, I quite often, the weekends is about family for me, and quite often it's about what we're doing on the weekend. With regards to what I've done this week, on Monday, I did a post and I've got 6 transformations. So I start off. You see that? Did you see that? It starts off with a girl, and you can actually, so on Instagram, you can load a whole lot of photos, and then you swipe left and you can see. So I've got 6 before and afters. And so people will swipe through and look at them, and because people are liking different posts. So I might do woman 1 week, and I might do men on a Wednesday, and I might do healthy aging on another day. So it's about, making sure you're appealing to all markets. Quotes, I'm, as Rach said, no swearing. So, I'm funny. That's me.
Yes.
Sandra's quotes are freaking hilarious. So funny. I'm like crying, laughing at them all.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, so it's like, just be you. And I love it, because we've been given permission to just be us. If people don't like the fact that I put that post up, they're not my people. So they'll go and find someone else that they resonate more with. So, and it's like, so just be you on social media. And if you think it's going to offend someone and you're worried about what they're thinking, that's wrong. It's like, just be you. There are several things I don't post about. I don't post about any politics or any religion. So those are my two. I don't go near that, because you basically, no matter what my view is, we've just had an election over here, and I was appalled at the ugliness in people all over social media. And I'm like, if I posted who my preference was, I've then just halved my market. So my political beliefs shouldn't affect anyone else from getting well. So yeah. So I just create a weekly, and I look at what I'm posting, and I go back to what my look is. And so if you look at my page, there's quotes, there's food, there's before and afters, and I'm big on sharing what I'm doing in my life. So, we went to, just taking them through the journey of me being mother of the bride and my daughter getting married. So what you think people may not like, all of a sudden, I've got women coming to me that are getting married or that are going to be mother of the bride. You just don't know what's going to resonate with people. So that's why it's so important to share. But, you don't have to give everything away. I've never put a picture up of me in bra and knickers. Never. No one needs to see that just yet. So
just yet.
Hmm?
Not quite yet.
No.
Yeah. When you've got your sexy rocking it, you'll be like wearing that polka dot bikini like it's going out of fashion.
Exactly. Yeah. Just one thing I want to share with you guys, and I am conscious of time. What really changed for me was sitting down and writing what my goals were. And so from writing my goals down, and I got really real about what I needed to earn to retire my husband, Tim. So as I said, I'm 52, he's 53. When he turns 55 in August 2019, I will be going to work to retire him. That is my goal. And he will no longer go to work after that date. And so how am I going to get there? And then I wrote down, I got really real with what our numbers were. How much money do I need to earn and to be able to retire him? And so I obviously worked with a business coach around this. So I got some really good advice. And it was like, get your number and build to there. And whatever your minimum number is, you need to be banking double that. So I could retire him quite easily, probably next year, but we won't, because we will give myself another year to take the business to the next step. And it's like, because you can go like, I'm a 2-star, but that means jack. It means nothing if you're not being paid a certain amount. So it's like, I don't go by stars or golden or anything. It's like, how much money is going into my bank account every week, and what do I need that to look like? Because you've got 6 stars that are only getting paid 15 cycles a week. So it's like, how many cycles are you actually banking each week? So, so we gave ourselves a 5-year goal for me to get to where I need to be, and that's what we're working to. So get your goals really real, and it is about that number. And it might just be, for your younger ones, it might just be that you want some freedom to travel, and you want to do more trips overseas. So at the moment, what I'm doing is taking us away several times a year to amazing holidays. Being able to pay for my daughter's wedding without any stress. When she had a $2,000 budget for her wedding dress, and she spent $4,500. It's like, Bubba, you only get married once. Get really real around what your money looks like. We're quite blessed as Primetime members, because we like Tim and I, we have our house. That's our retirement fund. So it's like, I can retire him at 55 and we can start traveling the world. So how am I going to do that? And then write yourself a script. Write yourself a script about what that looks like. And I know Rachel's big on scripts, and she'll go into that more in depth. But my script is what shifted everything. When I sat down after David Wood and wrote myself a script, that's when I had a massive shift for me and for everything else around me.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely do a training piece on the script if you want. Like I used to heal the bone in my foot, and I'm using it for our goals around isogenics with the UK at the moment. But essentially it's a manifestation piece that you write and you read every morning and night until it's all happened and done, and then you move on to the next incredible thing. But I love all of that. I can't wait to see you guys tripping around the world. I'm just thinking about everybody that's on the call, like Kyla and Dave, how much they want to travel, mum and dad, and you know how much all of those things are what they really want as well. So yeah, so cool.
I do all the numbers for us, Sandra, Rach and I in the business, and I'm so glad you said that. Thanks for mentioning that, because I always bang on to the team about know your numbers. The better you know your numbers, you know, the more clarity and you're going to have around what you need to do in your business, what action you need to take to make it happen.
Yeah, and so, a rank means jack shit, because we got on a call the other day and they're like, oh, this is Rachel and Isaac, 2-star golden circle, 1-star crystal executive, all of that jazz. One, it made nothing to those people on the call. So I said, before we continue, just that means like we have the same, we can have the same experience you do. We can have the same business that you do. It's just that we met Alice, and Alice wanted to do this. And it's taken us 12 months to even be close to getting paid back to executive. So it's so irrelevant anyway. But I love what you said about that as well. Yeah, just takes all the hierarchy out of it, because the idea is that we're in a business where everybody's the same. This is a business where we all start at the same point and we all have the same opportunity. So then why would you give people these, like, I think I'm going to be one of those people that gets on stage when I'm a millionaire and I'm like, can you just take that bit down and just call me like Rachel, like inspirer of women or something, rather than like Isogenics millionaire, because it's super cringe.
Yeah, I love that.
You're amazing, Sandra. I just love your realism, like the you being you. Like that's who you are. Like who you meet in person is who you are on social media, vice versa.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think I love most about you. And we couldn't think of anyone better to talk about social media and just being in the authentic you and knowing really how to grow your business steadily and consistently and keeping it simple and duplicatable and building retention. So thanks so much for covering all those areas. And we could have you on like a 10-hour call and we just get so much gold.
You dry.
I honestly, I can't believe how much you just covered in that short time that we just had on this call so far.
Yeah.
But I think we've got, another 5 to 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Another 1 minute.
We've literally got a minute.
But
wow, that's gone so fast.
If you guys need to go off the call, that's right. But we might even take 5 minutes if you're all right with that, Sandra. If you've got another 5.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's go. Who's got questions?
Yeah. So anyone who's got questions, Joe's
waving. Mum didn't even get a chance. Usually Mum is right in there.
You got competition now. Sorry, Joe. I'll mute you. Hold on. That's not on. There we go.
There, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Linda, I put you to the post this time. Sorry. Sandra, can you just give us a snapshot of your working day? How many hours you would, on average, put in?
Oh, yeah, love. So let's get really real. I haven't worked very hard. I would say, honestly, so I'm 3 years in, and I would be a 10-hour-a-week girl, sometimes 20, but not consistently 20. I'll be really honest, it's 10 hours a week. I actually read something in the last 2 weeks from Jennifer Schultz, who's the most amazing woman in Australia and top Australian lady. 300 people. Now I'm a number girl. I work to a goal. If someone had said to me, Sandy, go and enroll 300 people, I would have done that in my first year. So your goal is to personally enroll 300 people and you will become an Isogenics millionaire. Basically, let's go. How quick do you want? So it's like 300 people. I wish I'd known that number. And so I went through and counted my personally enrolled. Sorry, I swallowed. And I counted my personally enrolled, and I'm like, right, you've got some work to do, and because I'm not a sponsor monster. I'm not one of those people that is a binge enroller. My 20 people in 3 months was massive for me. I probably sit as an average around 5 which is good, 5 a month. And so, but you know, to do that 25 packs in 3 months was big for me. And as Isaac and Rachel know, I don't do the isodubies or anything like that where you binge and roll. I'm just more of a consistent enroller, and so yeah, my day, 10 hours a day, and that is changing for me to be a 10 hours a week to 20 hours a week. So you don't, if you can find 10 hours a week, you can grow a really good business. You don't need 8 hours a day.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
That's so key, Sandra, because everyone talks about, who's this? There's a little love that's...
This is Olive.
Hi, Olive. Hi, gorgeous. I've heard all about you.
They've been hiding upstairs while Dolly's on a Zoom call.
Oh.
I'm Dolly.
Oh, no.
It's porridge time.
Porridge time.
So, yeah, we can keep going.
No, I was just saying that it's so great for people to hear that, like, if you can work, you know, if you can work smart, that you don't have to work all the time. Like, I think because people see Isaac and I working a lot, and that's just like the way we like to do things. You know, we don't have any responsibilities. We literally have like isogenics and then whatever else we fill our time with.
And all that travel.
And we love posting on social media and doing, like, we do Instagram story, Facebook story, this story, that story, you know, like we're all on it all the time. And I think for our team, lots of them have said to us, and you know, I just couldn't do what you do. And it's nice to hear, well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
The power that I have is picking up a phone call and having a 20-minute phone call and having an enrollment at the end of that phone call. Yeah. So know what skill set is, and you don't need to spend hours and hours doing things if you can work quickly and smartly. It's like, you know, in your language at the end of your phone call when you're trying to get a new person started, it's like, so when would you like to start is my favorite line. When would you like to start, or are you ready to start? You know, when did you want this health transformation by? Have you got a special holiday you're going on? Things like that.
Yeah. So good. Thanks, Jo. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, perfectly.
Awesome. I actually had really.
Does that answer your question? But Jo, to consistently fill that up. Sorry.
No, that's right.
You go, Isaac.
Oh, it just broke up to consistently, and then I didn't get the last bit.
Fill your funnel. So you can't talk to 5 people 1 week and no people for 3 weeks. It's like, how many people are you going to talk to every single week? Set a number, make it easy to achieve. And then when you're consistently talking to that number, you'll work out your number. You know, like when I first started, and I'll share this very quickly. When I first started, I went to my first celebration, and I had to qualify to get put in a group to run to executive, which was a 90-day game plan. And 250 people were allowed in that group to participate. 2 people went to executive out of 250 people. Consistent work. So it's like, how many people are you going to talk to each day? So I did the 3 by 3 by 3. I'm not sure if that's in the UK, but it's talk to 3 new people, follow up 3 people, pour love into 3 people. And pouring love into those 3 people is key for me, because they don't have to be isogenics people. They can be people that you haven't connected with for 5 years, you know, but you'll go and search them out and realize that you really care about those people. It's a genuine connection. So re-establishing relationships.
Consistency is
that grew my business. Consistency.
Yeah. Thank you.
Did you have a question?
Welcome.
Mum have a question? I'm just conscious of the time.
I can't remember what mine was actually. So, has anyone else got? Maybe we could take 1 or 2 more questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? Linda looks like she does, or she's contemplating it.
Do you have a question, Mum? Do you want me to unmute you? Maybe unmute her.
No, yeah, just my thing that I have is still this confidence issue about talking to people. As you guys know, I've talked to you about this before. Just even though I was a hairdresser and got paid to talk for 35 years, to actually just approach somebody about the business, I don't want to sort of just scare people off. So that's just I know it's my thing that I've got. And Rachel's just like, oh, Mum, just talk to the person on the train like you did with Carla and Dave. And that's good. And I see myself in that situation, but it's still actually having the courage to just drum up this conversation with somebody, a complete stranger. So that's the barrier that I'm sort of up against really at the moment.
So really simply, it's start a conversation and find common ground, and it's nothing about isogenics.
Yeah.
So that's the first part, is start a conversation, and again, David Wood training, you get 30 seconds, find 3 things in common. So that's how you get good at practicing with someone. Obviously, you wouldn't do that to a complete stranger. But it's like, when I start a conversation with someone, it's like, oh my God, I love your shoes. And it's a genuine, I love that person's shoes. And it goes from there. And as my family say, I can talk to a post. So, and get a response back. So it's like, find common ground, and then the conversation will go to where it needs to go. And they'll say, so what do you do? What do you do? Yeah. And that's when you get the chance to say, well, I'm actually a hairdresser, but what I'm most passionate about is our health and wellness company that we've just started, and we've just finished a 16-week health and Ice Body challenge. And oh my God, my husband's hot. He's like aged. He's gone back 15 years. It's amazing, and it's just how you feel and what you say. Yeah. I say, I'd say to people, about my husband, it's like, well, I didn't let him use the products because there was no way he was going to get hotter than me. I was fat, he wasn't. So, it's like just get some banter going and just be real and just be you. And that's that whole, it gets weird when you're trying to push isogenics in. Just let it happen organically.
Yeah.
And say, isogenics is incredible. My whole family use it from my, when 3 years ago, my nephew was 13. So, from my 13-year-old nephew to my 75-year-old mother, we love it. It's the best nutrition on the planet. No one's going to argue with you when you've got that posture.
No.
Oh my God, what is it? Can you send me some information? Of course I can.
Yeah.
So
Thanks,
good.
Sandra.
It's so
Thank
good.
you.
Because the funniest thing was that Mum said I met Kyla and Dave on a train on the way back from Devon to Cornwall, and I looked up, and then me and Isla made eye contact, and I smiled at her, and then when we got on the train, we just started chatting, or we were chatting on the train platform, and by the time I got off the train, I knew that she got married in Australia to Dave, that her brother lived there, that he lived in New Zealand, that she had a son. Like, I was like, so much stuff I knew about this woman. Like, but I was just like so interested in her. I was like, oh my God, like, because especially when someone in that part of the world knows about Australia and New Zealand, sometimes I meet a lot of people, they don't really know that, they're like, isn't New Zealand just Australia? Like, they just don't even know that they're 2 separate countries. So yeah, and I just like kept asking her questions, and then like you say, she just asked me what I did, and then we connected on Facebook, and here we are. So it was just yeah.
And isn't that beautiful? Because it was just a real natural, with no agenda. And this is the biggest thing, is have no agenda. And I get my team contacting me and saying, oh, this person would be amazing for the business, and they're all excited. And I go, what are the health goals? Because at the start of everything it's a health transformation. So if you don't know their health goals, how do you know they're going to be great at the business? And we've all made that mistake. Trust me. My family, I don't ever say, oh my God, I found an amazing business builder, because I've stopped saying it, because you think they will be and they say they want it, but they actually don't. So it's someone that's passionate about health and passionate about people and open to just sharing. And don't be worried that, I'm not a speedster. It's like slow and steady and consistent, and keep enrolling new people and keep the next 5 coming, the next 5. So that's the biggest tip for me. So don't be scared to talk to anyone, because guess what? They all bleed red.
You are funny.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Mum.
Good question.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
Probably 90% of people feel that way.
I think we're going to tie up the questions now.
Yeah, love you.
We've kind of gone over a little bit, but just want to say like a massive thank you to you, Sandra, for jumping on, for giving us your precious time, because you know I know how much you're got going on, and you're super time effective because you're working 10 hours a week, but 20 hours now. But yeah, just a massive thank you. It's early there. We love you. We'll always be so grateful for everything that you did for Isaac and I know we say it all the time, but you know, the fact that we really weren't like showing up like some people in New Zealand, you know, shooting through the ranks as much, but you still treated us exactly the same as everybody else. And you've given us the opportunity to talk in Auckland when we come back in January. And we're just so excited about that as well. And we just can't wait to contribute to people in the way that you do when you speak. So yeah, thank you.
My pleasure, guys. And well done, everyone, for saying yes and getting started. And you've got great leaders, and Rachel and Isaac, they're just gorgeous, heart-centered people, and I love them so much. So, yeah, you're in good hands.
Thank you.
I think for everybody that's going to ISA uni, so Amy, I know